G'day guys, my name is Lil Tomo here again with another Sonic the Hedgehog toy item collectible review. As you already know, I am Lil Tomo and we have the good old blue star. Sonic? What is Sonic wearing? You know what? This review is actually about him. It's about another character which unfortunately I haven't had the time or effort to actually search out. But it is actually, if you have read the title, a Shadow the Hedgehog limited edition remote control. I actually wanted to do this review for quite a while, but you know, with most things I try to associate a plush with the item. I try to find, actually I did buy a Shadow. It's taken a while for it to be shipped over, and I was like, you know what, I really want to get this review out because, long story short, as you guys may or may not have known, any item that I tend to have doubles of, which I do have, there's a hint of suspicion that I'm going to be announcing a new competition. So guys, that's definitely is the case. There's going to be, I think, one other review before I announce another competition, and obviously I'm going to make it as big and lustrous as possible. But that's besides the point. I'm here to actually do the review of this, and so you guys can more or less you know, get the gist of this. Now this is a, as I mentioned, a Shadow the Hedgehog controller. Now this is initially designed for the PlayStation 2. I believe there was one, if I'm not mistaken, for an Xbox. I'm not 100% sure on that. As far as I'm aware of, there was a Shadow the Hedgehog PlayStation 2 controller, which this more or less came out. This was more or less in conjunction, depending on which region you were from, the US, Australia, etc. In Australia, this was kind of like a pre-order limited edition sort of thing, with retailers like EB Games and that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, I never had the time at the time. I never had the money at the time to actually do the pre-order. I just purchased the game, and to be directly honest with you, I wasn't even aware that a controller came out. I only, you know, realized like literally maybe about a month afterwards, and I was like, you know what, I should have pre-ordered it. But in my area at the time, it wasn't as developing, and not developing, I don't live in the country, but yeah, we didn't really have a game store. So if you really wanted to get a game store, you had to go out to, you know, like another suburb, for instance. But we have one now, and I pretty much get all my games and whatnot from there, which is pretty awesome. I know they're pretty awesome. Anyway, that's enough me talking. So in essence, this was kind of like pre-order. Congratulations, you purchased the game. You paid, I think, an additional $30, which is like $130 at the time, thereabouts, if I'm not mistaken, and you got yourself this. I got this like a couple of months afterwards when I found out, when I caught wind that that this came out. Now, as per the name, I think what sells this in particular is just the overall design and overall packaging. I'll be the first to admit that yes, I am a Sonic fan. Actually, my favorite character, you can actually see my reflection there, my favorite character would probably have to be Knuckles, followed closely by Sonic, Tails, okay, depends, and obviously Shadow. Not so much, I'm not saying Shadow is bad. I actually am, you know, I'm a pretty big fan of Shadow, to be honest. He has a lot of angst. I know a lot of fans out there totally dig him as a character, and I can understand why. But in terms of how I relate with certain characters, yeah, Knuckles had to be my prime character, but that's besides the point. Basically, there's a lot of mixed reviews, a lot of mixed reactions in terms of the games when it first initially came out, and my take on it is, look, to be honest, I've had fun with the game, provided that the game is fun. I don't have an issue with the game, regardless if it's from the genre. They tend to, I guess, you know, sorry, I'm just hearing some noises, tend to branch out and that sort of stuff. But pretty much in essence, for those who may or may not know about Shadow the Hedgehog, he was basically created by Dr. Fitzgerald, if I'm not mistaken, kind of like the grandfather of Dr. Robotnik, Dr. Eggman, and he was on the Ark. Basically, he was considered and created to be the ultimate life form. Somehow he was meant to be the pardon me, the actual savior of humanity. May that be in a metamorphic way, in a curable way. It kind of was implied that he kind of had the, I guess, the innate, or, you know, attributes to cure weaknesses and other sort of stuff. But it's, you know, subject to each person in terms of how they interpret it, sort of thing. And of course, you know, things didn't go well. For the full story of that, you can probably check out, you know, you could probably check out if not played the Sonic Adventure game. So that's pretty much when he first made his cameo. Now, the reason why I more or less brought this up is because this actual packaging more or less kind of conveys him as an individual, even though this wasn't a release for the actual Sonic Adventure 2 series. It was actually released for the Shadow the Hedgehog game, which was kind of his own unique game that initially came out. Why I say that is because Shadow the Hedgehog, for those of you who don't know, kind of came out of isometric, I wouldn't say isometric, I'll probably say an iso cube, basically a hibernation sort of chamber of sorts, where he basically was there in stasis for a couple of, I don't know, years, decades, eons, I'm not entirely sure. I wouldn't say eons, but you get the gifs. And he came out, and as he came out the casing, all the gas came out, and he's just like, I am the ultimate life form. Now, it didn't actually originally come out of a red kind of iso cube sort of thing, a station pod, as others may refer it. But the reason why I say that is because his predominant two colors are red and black, and this has a fusion of both. So it kind of has him, the remote control being kind of a metaphysic state, as you can probably see by the actual head of Shadow the Hedgehog, a metaphysic state coming out of the iso cube or the stasis pod, and then as you open it up, the gas doesn't come out, of course, but you can imagine him kind of coming out, kind of being power and effect, which I think is superbly captured in any collectible that's been released of Sonic the Hedgehog. Besides the 20th anniversary pack, collector's pack, which I got, which I've not yet to review, simply because it's been done. I'll probably do it down the track anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much the jits and the design of the actual casing. I know it's a lot, you know, to talk about the casing, but it's a lot of thoughts being put into it. Now, as you can see the testament, or not the testament, but they're kind of like, here we go, the icon of Shadow the Hedgehog kind of was the symbol of the game in a way. You have what it is, which is a Shadow the Hedgehog controller, and I think it's pronounced for or bought PlayStation 2. So I'm pretty sure this was released in Italy too. The general case itself is all hard plastic, and it's pretty much just hard plastic. And man, this looks so superb. You have no idea how I'm in love with this case. You have no idea. This in the display is awesome, even if you take it out, which I will show you. So generally it's all black, and you just have obviously Sega there, which is colored in red. On the back you have what it is, and you have a little hook here which you would hang at the back, which they didn't have to do, but they did it anyway. You kind of simply have a promotional piece out of it, Shadow the Hedgehog controller, and it says what is based on the Shadow the Hedgehog exclusive customizable artwork from Sega. What else do they have here? Shadow the Hedgehog illustrated. Yeah, so you have a whole bunch of kind of like advertising sort of information there, and you have good old Shadow the Hedgehog being badass on a gun motorbike. I guess a lot of fans don't like that. If you really, the thing is, this is my 2 cents of info here. Take this as you will. I don't see an issue with Shadow carrying guns per se, even though fans are like, no, he shouldn't. It's in the universe, guys. It's definitely in the universe, and I don't mind him running vehicles. The thing is, Shadows has always been the badass. Now that kind of reflects in his attitude towards thing. He is in par with Sonic in terms of speed of running. However, he's not a physical fast runner as Sonic. He uses his hover boots. So of course you would imagine that he uses anything and every resource that he can at his disposal to do the job what he needs to be done. That's my 2 cents. Obviously, if you want me to go into detail, you know, it's up to you guys. Oh, okay. Let's take this up. So as I mentioned, you take out the case, and you have no idea how I'm in love with this case, to be honest. So you take this out, and this is how it initially looks like. It kind of has this not transparent, but this reflective sort of surface, and you have good old Shadow the Hedgehog there. Pretty impressive. Now, before I go into the actual review of that, it does come with I don't know what the best word it is, kind of like information pack. So you take that out, and it just has a bunch of stuff. This is a this symbol of product construction means that just kind of a little, you know, do not do sort of thing. And this is to register Namco products. I'm guessing the company that actually made this remote pardon me, actually made this remote control is Numtech from California, St. Monica, California. Pretty awesome. And I think it's more or less a registry card, kind of like a warranty card of sorts, which is nothing to. And this is pretty much kind of like I don't know, kind of an instruction to a remote. I'm pretty sure for those who don't know how to use a remote, I guess you could read this. So it's more or less thanking you, safety and precautions. What else does it have? Another badass picture of Shadow the Hedgehog, which basically says, emerging from the shadows of doubt, only you can determine his fate now. So that, I think that's pretty awesome. Just, he's so empowering. I'm actually waiting for the first figure statue to be on pre-order, so I can pre-order that. Gotta have that. And of course you just have the buttons, what each buttons more or less do. Once again, pretty straightforward. Tells you how to plug things in, and more information on that side. Nothing too crazy on that side. And you need to have another badass picture of Shadow the Hedgehog. So look, to be honest, I can understand why people would totally dig him. He's a pretty badass, kick-ass sort of character. No, he's not a bad character. He's not my favorite. Not to say he's not, like, I hate him or anything. He's just not my favorite. No. So here's the remote itself. And essentially, it comes in this little plastic bit, which I'm not 100% sure on how this. Okay, this is really plugged into it. Essentially what it is you got yourself the little plug there, which is the, you know what, I'm gonna see if I can take it out without breaking it. There we go, there we go. That's the plastic bit, put this here. So this is the actual cable. It's like your standard remote control for pardon me, your standard remote control for your I was about to say Nintendo. For your, gotta fix this up, for your PlayStation. Sorry for the delay on that. And you just have the logo, and this is just a port, nothing too special. It just has Sega at the very top, which I think is awesome. Before I show you the buttons, I gotta show you the back. This is the back. It's a little smaller. Now I don't have a PlayStation 2 remote, but this is more or less what it is. This is kind of the PlayStation 3 remote that I have, and you can tell based on the actual size and dimension that it's significantly smaller from the top and the bottom. Ideally this is more stylish, but this is way more this is more smaller than this one. Not bad. It's just, obviously you can tell by my hands I'm pretty big, but I guess what they've gone with this design is the fact that, you know, you can access each button as quickly and fast as possible, which I think is awesome. Now let's focus on the actual covering itself and the buttons itself, because that's when you, as we mentioned, the actual overall design is pretty much, I won't say crystal clear, but it's kind of transparent, reflective in a way, and I think that's extremely beautiful. You have Sega, you have kind of the overall theme of the character itself, and you have a picture of Shadow the Hedgehog, which is awesome. Now, for those of you who haven't picked it up, picked up on it, but these actual buttons are not just standard. You know, buttons there. Sorry guys. So yeah, so you can tell the buttons are obviously different. Now pretty much if you've messed around with the original PlayStation 2 remote, it shouldn't make much difference on how you pick it up. It's just the buttons are there, so you know, just to make it unique really. So the overall design is extremely superb. Now the unique thing about it, the unique thing in comparison to the original and just the design is the actual buttons themselves. They feel fluid, they feel smooth, they feel precise. So that's always awesome. And you got a little button here as well that you can mess around with. So it really does feel like smooth. Me personally, I got big hands, so it's not gonna work as well for me. But you can pretty much press all buttons, and it's pretty fluent. I messed around with this in the original PlayStation 2 days. I packed it away since then because I already had remotes there just to test it out to see it was working. The only downside, if at all, is these buttons at the bottom, the select and start over here and there. Of course you're going to be playing this, you know, if you're using this to play, when you press those buttons, boom, they activate those features. Now I guess they try to curve that by making it really, you know, you have to really press into it. I'm not a big fan of that, simply because it feels like you're going to break it if you press the button in as hard as you can to press the button. I get why they did it, I'm just not a fan of it. So look, the overall remote control is beautiful. Like I cannot stress out enough the absolutely, you know, beauty of this remote control. It's just aesthetically looks impressive within packaging and without packaging. I have it within and it looks beautiful either way. I have friends who check it out and say, oh my god, can I check out this remote? I'm like, yeah, go ahead and knock yourself out. But it's definitely aesthetically looking by all means and all that sort of stuff. Now let's discuss the nitty gritty, because for those who may or may not know, they want to probably know about price and all the fun stuff that follows through. Now originally when it first came out, it wasn't that expensive. I think it cost normally for the retail price of any remote control. I think at the time it was like 30 bucks, I think, which isn't bad, I suppose, at the time. Sorry guys, I'm just sliding this back in. So yeah, so in essence, there we go. Yeah, just gotta do that. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? So yeah, so initially it was a pre-order. I'm not entirely sure of the price that it was when it first came out through pre-order, simply because I never had the time to actually get it as pre-order. Now in terms of I guess how much it is worth now, I got it when I bought it, when I kind of like rebought it. You know, I'm not even, there you go, there you go. So when I rebought it, I think I got it for about 30 bucks thereabouts. I think I got it from like a kind of like a game trade store over here, and he had this as brand new. I was like, yeah, I'll give you 30 bucks. And like, yeah, no worries, go knock yourself up. So I bought this for 30 bucks, and from there I've had it ever since. And to be directly honest, I would love for somebody to actually win another one. I did buy two. Unfortunately the second one is exactly the same, just unfortunately the back is a bit scratched off, which, you know, it's going to be a price. I'm going to give it away free of charge, same deal as before. How much is it worth now? I've seen this go up to about 150. I saw it sold for 150, which is crazy for me, to be honest. But I think its average is roughly about $60 to $70. You know, really averages. I haven't really gone out of my way to check look for this, so I can't say it with 100% certainty. In terms of rarity, being that the fandom for Shadow has increased over the years for unknown reasons, I can only speculate. Maybe fandom, maybe, I don't know, other subtle reasons with I can't really say because it has to be PG. Look, I'll probably give this maybe a 7 stars out of 10, because, you know, Shadow is getting extremely popular. I've seen his figurine sold out. You know, doubt this is definitely going to pick up. But yeah, well guys, tell me what you think of this review. If you like it, you dislike it, leave any comments. Definitely let me know. And yeah, look out for the near future for a new competition. This is going to be one of the prizes. So yeah, we'll go from there. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Speed on and take care.